Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Okay, welcome. This is Mike Hardenbrook. You might know me from the book No Willpower Required, or as the founder of Cloud9. And today, I've been looking into some really fascinating material. It's a collection of articles and research. It shines a light on something I think a lot of us experience, maybe without even noticing it's become a pattern. The topic is what this material is calling the alcohol work trap. This whole idea that we push hard at work, we deal with all the stress, survive a crazy day, maybe a crazy week, and then what's our go-to move? To decompress. It's often grabbing a drink. We actually think of it as a reward. Sometimes we even label it self-care. But here's the kind of wild twist these sources lay out. You've given your all at work, right? You're running on empty, maybe feeling pretty burned out. And at that thing you reach for, instinctively, to recover, to feel better, unwind. What if it's actually doing the exact opposite? Or that thing you think is a reward is quietly keeping you stuck, or I don't know, maybe even making things a little bit worse. So our mission today, looking into this material, is pretty straightforward. We're sticking strictly to what these sources actually say. We're to look at the facts they present, the science they mention that explains why this happens, and importantly, the better alternatives they suggest. How to actually recover and genuinely feel good. This isn't about judgment at all. It's just about understanding the mechanics of this trap and maybe finding some more effective tools to get out of it. Okay, so let's start by kind of unpacking the core problem these sources highlight. They point out that right now, this pattern is just incredibly relevant. So many people in the view listening, especially folks in their, say, 20s, 30s, and 40s, they're living with this chronic stress. It's almost like the baseline, right? Long hours, that feeling of being constantly on real burnout and just managing the sheer mental load, the emotional weight of modern life. It's exhausting. And in this kind of environment, the material explains alcohol has become the easy button, seen as the shortcut, the fastest way we know to signal, okay, I survived, time to switch off. But the moment you look at this research, it pushes back hard. It says pretty flat out, alcohol does not reduce stress. All it really does is numb you to the feeling of it. And only for a little while. And then what? What happens after that temporary numbness wears off? The sources detail the aftermath quite clearly. Alcohol actually spikes your cortisol. That's your body's main stress hormone. It seriously messes with your sleep quality, like dramatically. It can throw your mood off later on. And sort of cumulatively, it crushes your resilience, makes it that much harder to face whatever the next day throws at you. So a really powerful point this material makes is this. If your main strategy for recovering from work stress involves drinking, you're probably not recovering. You're just kind of muffling the signal your body and mind are sending. That signal that's saying, hey, I need real rest. I need genuine restoration. Okay, now let's peek inside the brain for a second, because the sources touch on the neuroscience in a way that's actually really easy to follow. It's talking about the brain's stress response. When you're under pressure, your brain naturally looks for a hit of dopamine. That's the chemical link to pleasure, reward. It makes you feel good. And alcohol, boom, it delivers an instant dopamine hit, and it's fast. This is precisely why that first drink after a really tough day feels so rewarding. It taps right into that basic desire for a reward signal. But here's the sneaky part, the real trap these sources are describing. That initial dopamine spike, it's followed by a pretty significant crash. So yeah, you felt good for a moment, but you're likely going to feel worse later. It's kind of like taking out a high-interest loan on your future mood. Now, your brain, it's smart, but it's also, vulnerable to this fast track. It starts to adapt, you build tolerance. And this means over time, you need more alcohol, more just to get even that initial fleeting sense of reward. And the trap really takes hold, the sources say, when you shift from drinking for, say, joy or celebration, to drinking just to feel normal, functional even, just to quiet the anxiety or the low mood, or maybe even the physical discomfort that follows the crash of that mild withdrawal. So that drink you thought was a reward for your hard work. This material argues it's actually hijacking your brain's natural reward system, and it's suddenly locking you into a cycle that, really works against you. Okay, moving beyond the brain. The source is getting at the concrete physical costs, the things that really drain your energy and sabotage your recovery. Sleep disruption is a huge one, massive. This material specifically tackles that myth, that common idea that alcohol helps you sleep. It says basically, nope, not really. While it might make you fall asleep faster, maybe knock you out, it absolutely wrecks your REM sleep. And REM sleep, that's the crucial stage, deep sleep. It's where your brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, really restores itself. And that's why you wake up feeling fuzzy, groggy, definitely not refreshed, even if you technically got, say, 8 hours in bed. These sources even mention specific findings, like even fairly low amounts of alcohol can reduce your sleep quality by up to 24%. Think about that. Nearly a quarter less effective rest just from a couple of drinks. And it's not hard to connect those dots, right, by work day. Bad sleep means worse focus, lower energy, often more cravings for sugar or quick fixes, and maybe a shorter fuse emotionally. All of which just makes the next day even harder, becomes this self-perpetuating loop. Then there's the point about stress hormones. This material confirms that after you drink, your main stress hormone, cortisol, that actually increases. Yeah, it doesn't go down, it goes up. So what's the impact of having this higher cortisol? Well, it keeps you physically tense. It makes it harder to truly relax your mind, to really wind down properly, and it kind of primes you for bigger emotional reactions, bigger swings the next day. If you're already dealing with burnout, feeling drained, the sources are really clear. Alcohol doesn't help you heal from that. It just makes it worse. It keeps numbing those signals your body is sending, preventing real recovery and keeping you stuck in that cycle. Stress, drink, regret, repeat, exhausting. So if you strip it all down, the core takeaway from these sources, the simple version, the TLDR, so basically this: when you automatically reach for alcohol after work to unwind, you're not actually treating yourself in a way that helps. You are, maybe without realizing it, training your brain, training it to rely on something that is ultimately a depressant, all in the name of relaxation. And the material is careful here. It emphasizes this isn't about making anyone feel guilty, not at all. The point is just to shine a light on this common pattern, a pattern that feels the reward in the moment, but is actually draining your energy and preventing real, actual restoration. So what's the alternative then? What can you do? The good news is these sources don't just lead you with the problem, they pivot to solutions, to alternatives, and may frame these as better ways to get those actual positive brain chemicals and achieve genuine recovery, you know, without all the negative stuff alcohol brings along. They list several really practical suggestions. First, build in what they call stress-resilient dopamine habits. These are activities that naturally boost your mood, create real positive feelings, but without the crash. These like getting outside for a walk, maybe having a genuine laugh with someone, stretching your body out, even just putting on some music and dancing around your kitchen for a few minutes. Simple stuff. Second, they suggest swapping the drinking ritual. See, for a lot of us, the habit is tied up in the physical act itself, right? Coming home, going to the fridge, pouring something into that specific glass, sitting in that particular spot. These sources suggest keep the comforting ritual, but change what's in the glass. Try to fancy sparkling water, maybe a nice herbal tea, a non-alcoholic mocktail. You get the psychological comfort of that transition ritual, just without the negative effects of the alcohol. Third, prioritize actual recovery strategies. This means intentionally scheduling rest, giving yourself permission to actually slow down without feeling like you need to numb out to do it. Maybe journaling a bit, getting thoughts out of your head, or even just mindlessly watching some truly terrible reality TV. We all do it. Now, doing it consciously as a form of low effort downtime, not as an escape fueled by alcohol. Now, the material also specifically highlighted actually, that there are certain ingredients that can be genuinely supportive, real tools for recovery and relaxation, especially if you're trying to break this cycle of using alcohol to de-stress. It names two specific ones: magnesium glycinate and L-Theanine. Now, based only on what this material says about them, magnesium glycinate is described as supporting relaxation, calming the nervous system, and importantly, helping improve sleep quality without making you drowsy during the day. So, kind of ideal for dealing with that post-work stress, right? L-Theanine is mentioned as an amino acid that helps calm the mind, reduces feelings of being overwhelmed, also without making you feel sleepy. So it helps you unwind while keeping your mental clarity. The sources do note, and they present this clearly as information about available tools, not as a sales pitch, Matt, that these specific ingredients are found in Cloud9 formula. They highlight this because having accessible tools that support real relaxation and better sleep, that can be key when you're trying to interrupt that pattern of using alcohol for those things. So who does this material seem to be talking to? Who is this exploration really for? Well, it's for you if you're someone who regularly has that unwind drink after work. It's for the professional feeling burned out, craving truly effective ways to get energy back, get mental clarity back. It's really for anyone who feels that familiar pull, that sense of meaning a drink, just to switch on for the end of the day. And definitely for listeners who are looking to shift that ingrained connection in their minds between reward and alcohol. The sources leave us with a really interesting idea to sit with, a thought-provoking one. Alcohol has somehow become this widely accepted symbol, almost a badge of honor, right? for just getting through the day or the week. We use it to mark that transition from work time to off time. But this material strongly suggests it's not actually helping you thrive. It's silently undermining your ability to genuinely recover and feel your best. So maybe the next time you find yourself heading for that drink purely out of habit after work, maybe just pause for just a second and ask yourself the question this material prompts. Is this actually helping me feel better long term? Or is it just helping me escape the feeling right now? The concluding idea is pretty powerful and simple too. You don't need something like, well, poison to feel proud of making it through the day or to celebrate progress. What you really need and what you deserve are better tools for actual recovery, and maybe just a bit of unlearning that old ingrained habit. And that wraps up this look into the source material on the alcohol work trap. Thanks so much for joining me for this exploration today. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.